Recently, I made a Scotch egg inside a Scotch egg inside a Scotch egg inside a Scotch egg. I was on holiday in Portugal and I got a notification through Gordon Ramsay's duetted your video.
If your kitchen equipment could talk, what would they say about you as a chef?
Take it easy, pal. I'll do what I want with your cuisine when I want, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Down the barrel of the camera as well.
A little bit of bean stew goes on first, a little bit of rice to add some girth. I probably eat, on average, I would say half the food I make and half is other people.
Do you want my address? You can bring it around.
Literally, thick layer of smoke with the grill, pouring fire out all over the thing. Use that dough to make a burrito and some extra mini burritos, and coated one big burrito in the other mini burritos to make a burrito.
We have like a burrito count.
To make a burrito, wrapped in mini burritos. What do I want to put into a burrito? I tell you what, when I get a dog, when I got my own place.
Not the dog. Hello and welcome to the Behind the Screens podcast with me, Curtis.
And I'm James.
And I'm Ollie. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
He's jumped the gun. We've got Ollie on the show. Love that. That's better than normal.
Better known as El Burrito Monster on social media, or the guy who says Scran.
Welcome to the show, mate. How you doing?
Very good. How are you guys doing?
Amazing. I feel like we're in the presence of food royalty here.
Yeah.
I don't know how I earned that title. Just
I'm gutted that
Scran
that big burrito that isn't on the table that you brought in.
no, it's probably cold as well, so maybe just one to heat up later.
Devastated. But before we get into the show and learn about your story, I've got one question I want to ask. You've got yourself the best date in the world. You've got someone come around your house that you've always wanted to be there. What burrito are you making them?
Well, a date's a tricky one because the most flavourful thing is also generally quite messy, which you typically want to avoid on a date because some sort of like slow cooked like lamb curry burrito in some garlic naan, although delicious, do you want to have curry breath for the whole night? So in reality, date night will probably not be a burrito, unfortunately. It probably will just be the classic. Actually, surprisingly, beef Wellington, very good date dish because you prep it all in advance. All you need to do is bosh it in the oven in like 40 minutes. You rest it, it's good to go. And you can just sit and enjoy your date and just drink wine and have a good time. And you don't need to think about the cooking side. So
Sounds perfect.
yeah, beef welly is the best date dish, I think.
So I want to know about the name, where it came from, and the bit of the journey of how you became to be the El Burrito Monster.
So the name is a really, really weird one because I went to Mexico on holiday for the first time when I was 10 years old. The classic all-inclusive hotel with the family. Went back maybe when I was like 14 and 16. So 3 of my summer holidays growing up were all in Mexico. And one of them, one of the later ones, there was a burrito bar at the buffet where you could go up, you could put what you want in your burrito. So my parents were jokingly calling me the burrito monster for this holiday. And it was like the Christmas after that where I got a PlayStation or something for Christmas. And I was like, oh, I need to have a gamer tag now. And my old gamer tag on like RuneScape and Minecraft from back in the day was like Super Ski 5 because I liked skiing and it was Super Ski 5. And I was like, oh, Super Ski 5 is a bit childish now. I need to update it. So I was like, right, I'm obsessed with burritos now. So I'll call myself El Burrito Monster on PlayStation. Brilliant. So that was my that was my username on PlayStation. And ironically, way back in the day when I used to like clip my like Rocket League, Minecraft, and Fortnite clips from back in times gone by, they're still on my YouTube to this day of my random little PlayStation clips. And when people were finding my YouTube and seeing all my food videos, they were like, "This is like a bot account. It's some like Fortnite account reposting El Burrito Monster's clips from other platforms." And I was like, "No, it is me. Go on the clips. You'll see Fortnite El Burrito Monster there at the side. It's just I've left them up for fun, basically."
That's amazing. Love that.
So when I downloaded TikTok, I was like, what's my TikTok username going to be? I wasn't going to make videos at this point. I was just watching videos. And I just used the same as my gamer tag, El Burrito Monster.
Brilliant. It's a prophetic fallacy, isn't it? You started off with the gamer tag and now that's what you're doing best.
Well, when I started making food videos, I wasn't making burritos. I was making, my first viral video was a sausage and egg McMuffin. And I made a few more videos, and after going like viral a few times, people were like, why are you called El Burrito Monster if you don't make burritos? And I was like, oh, you're right, actually. So I made a burrito, and that was my first ever burrito video, and I hadn't gone viral in a few weeks at this point, and the burrito video did really well. So I was like, maybe this is a thing. And then I started making more burritos, and then kind of the content then followed the name, and I became the burrito guy.
Love that.
So do you think it's been in your brain since those Mexico holidays that you were destined to be the burrito monster?
It's probably all a happy accident, but I was obsessed with burritos. It all kind of makes sense. And I used to make various burritos at uni and make myself little mini burrito challenges of like 4 tortillas in a row filled with whatever I could get my hands on that day. And at the time as well, when I was doing that, I was also much bigger than I am now.
Yeah.
because I was less on it with the exercise compared to the amount I was eating. I've always eaten a lot and I still eat a lot, whereas now I just also run 60, 70 kilometres a week.
Amazing.
Well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about your weight loss journey, because that is the one thing. You don't just make like crazy ideas with your food. You make a lot of food. Like a lot comes out of it. How did you manage like balancing the weight?
Well, it's basically there's food for the camera and there's food off camera. So, you know, if I'm making 4 videos a week, these videos are going to be relatively high calorie, probably high fat, always high protein, to be fair, which is always fun. And it's basically when I'm not making sort of some really tasty thing for content, I'll often make chicken breast with salad and various chopped up veggies and stuff like that. And I don't really eat carbs when I'm not filming for content because I've eaten so many carbs already. So it's basically a balancing act of have this really tasty, indulgent meal for dinner, edit that video, go out and run 10K, get back, slice some chicken breast and have it with some like slaw or something like that, and get my fibre and protein in. I did that sort of for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then managed to lose like 6 stone or so. So it kind of worked out quite well.
So when you were first starting this, you were 6 stone heavier?
When I first started posting TikToks back in March of 2020, I was probably about 120 kilos. After a year and a half of making content as well, I was up to 135 kilos. And then I was like, damn, I'm a big boy. I looked surprisingly I didn't look like I weighed 135. I held it quite well because luckily I'm quite tall, so I can hold a bit of weight.
Yeah.
But then when I quit my job to go full-time content, I wasn't working in 9 to 5 as well as making food videos all night. I was doing content in the day and able to run and gym and do whatever else in the evening, and also sleep full 8 hours sleep a night. So when you sleep 8 hours a night, it's so much easier to regulate your appetite and control sort of your desires and impulses. And yeah, about a year and a half, I managed to lose 6 stone just by contenting, editing, running, eating healthy off camera. So it worked quite well.
What was the job you were doing before the El Burrito Monster took over and became who you are now?
I did a few different jobs because I was trying different ideas and seeing what stuck. So my first job out of uni, where I did maths, I did accounting because that's what you do when you do maths at uni. You go into some sort of financy kind of role. But I was going to do the chartered accountancy courses, do all the qualifications. I think I did the first exam and worked that for a few months and decided no, there's no point, because it was a really low paid job as well, because you get this really low grad salary with the idea of you'll also get a qualification, and when you qualified you then get a decent salary. And I was like, well, if I don't want to do this anyway, what's the point in carrying on at this low paid job to get a qualification that I don't want and I'm not going to use? So I quit that job, got a different job paying slightly more, but it was still just a filler job, working in supply and logistics for a food supply company. So we would basically, my job would be to organise lorries going around the country, refilling supermarket shelves with whatever products they were low on. So I'd download the Tesco stock report, see, they're low on these lines. I'll generate an order, send it to the warehouse, book the lorry, send the lorry into the Tesco. And that was kind of my job then for like 2.5 years. Then lockdown hits in March 2020, working from home. And not going to lie, at this point, my job was taking me 2 hours a day. Like it was literally in the morning, down at the stock report. Because before me, the job was done by, let's say, older people with slightly less forward-thinking mindsets who would print off the stock report, go line by line, ticking and writing down numbers and manually calculating each line, hand by hand, like literally with a calculator and a pen on a sheet of paper. And they'd be like, oh, those ones are a bit low, so I'll get those. Mine was just like, I'll make an Excel sheet for it, click refresh, generate order, send, done. So it was literally wake up, just be there for the morning meeting, basically, send out my orders, send out my things, and then just chill and play PlayStation all day.
Brilliant.
And that was when I started making TikToks. So lockdown, I was working from home, which is great because if I was in the office, I'd be there like doing 2 hours of work a day, but still having to be in the office all day. So it was nice being able to have all that time just to I started making TikToks for a laugh. So I'd make a TikTok, send it to my pals, we'd all laugh about it. We'd be playing Fortnite in the evening. I'd be cracking open like 9.
Were you making food with these TikToks at this point?
Yeah. So I was making food. I think I was just making sausage, egg, muffins. I was doing like how to make cookies, how to make honeycomb, different little easy food hacks you can do at home. And I was just making something random every day, sending it to the boys just as a bit of a laugh for my mates. And we'd be playing PlayStation all evening. We'd be bashing out sort of 8 or 9 beers a night on a weeknight at this point as well. I was very...
the good old lockdown days.
Very...
4-9 beers.
The occasional quiz would happen. We'd be on a Zoom quiz. We'd be doing shots all at home on our own, doing shots. It was a very weird time. And
where did the love of food come from then?
just from a love of eating, I guess. I've I've always had a family that's been very into food, so we've always tried out loads of different cuisines. You know, I was, you know, my love of spice especially came in quite early on. I remember being sort of 7 or 8 years old, and it would be at that point we'd be having curries every Friday night, maybe like it would be like Chinese every Saturday, curry every Friday,
Making me hungry.
home cooked meal every Sunday. But we'd try all these different cuisines and whatnot, and we luckily I managed to travel the world a little bit, go to different countries, try all their food. So just a love of food basically. I was tricked into eating a chili by my uncle at age 6. That's like a core memory of mine, where that's kind of where my spice addiction came from. Because after like an hour of pain, I was then able to eat the adult curries rather than the basic chicken curry that they get the kids back then.
One of my childhood memories is my dad made a pheasant curry at Christmas. It was grim.
Pheasant curry.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
He always says, I didn't do it, I swear I didn't make it, but he definitely did. Because everyone took one mouthful of it. I'm like, that is absolutely rank.
I'm yet to have pheasant that I've actually enjoyed. I've got 3 pheasants in my freezer right now. That was given by a guy who like goes hunting and stuff. And he's like, oh, do you want 3 pheasants that I shot at the weekend? And I was like, okay, yeah. They've been in my freezer for like the past 6 months since, and I've not decided what to do with them yet.
Don't burrito them.
Don't curry the pheasants. No.
Was it talking back then to your early content? So you sung over a lot of your videos. Why did you start? Why did you stop?
Why did I start? It's because I kind of just had an idea for it one day of like, oh, I'll try and make a little food song. So I think the first one I ever did was actually my first burrito video. Right. And the song, it was like, you know, the Mambo No. 5. It was like a jingle to that. This was before I was putting on karaoke backing tracks as well. It was just like, a little bit of bean stew goes on first, a little bit of rice to add some girth, a little bit of pulled pork for the meat. That sort of thing. And it was just me assembling the burrito, doing Mambo No. 5 of what was going on, and it went down really well. So from there, I carried it on, and it was doing really well. So I kind of just snowballed into, okay, I'm doing this every time because it's still doing really well. Only problem with that for me was it made my own videos harder to watch for myself. Yeah. So it's it stopped working eventually. It stopped getting the views in the algorithm. So when a certain style stops working and people get a little bit tired of it, that's when you change. I kind of changed my content from there. And actually, I feel like you need to have some sort of bit in videos that keep people coming back for more. And I feel like it's really hard to get that hooky engagement without being on camera. And back when I was doing the songs, I wasn't necessarily that happy with how I looked. So I wasn't really trying to be on camera so much. So the songs was almost a bit to sort of fill a void from the lack of like me in camera. And you'll see a lot of creators who started off with like ASMR, just the food. And you see them all, they'll transition and bring themselves into the content more and more because people remember... What's the phrase? People remember faces, they don't remember names. So like, you want to get your face and your content as much as possible to build a relationship with you. I feel so. When I stopped doing the songs, I was then sort of on a bit of a weight loss journey at that point. So I started putting myself into my content more.
I remember when I saw your content for the first time. I was dying in bed with man flu, and it came up on my YouTube shorts, and I was like, that's good. That was good. It just flung through all of them like, when I was dying in bed. That's amazing.
It's interesting you mentioned the algorithms because I said to James that I would like to talk about kind of your approach to it because you do really care about algorithms. You study them, you put techniques in. James isn't as passionate about algorithms as I am.
We want to grow our TikTok, so give us all the secrets.
But like you do so many cool things. You've studied like the faces and that sort of things, but you have catchphrases. You do things like the topless clips. Like,
or what was the first like viral moment that you thought, the algorithm loves me now?
Oh, I guess it's not
Sorry,
really.
Sorry, question.
No, it's fine.
It's not necessarily a moment. It's like the algorithm gets on side, and we say the algorithm. The algorithm is just people, and it's people connecting with your content more and more. So, I mean, my approach is just to sort of people recognize high effort. So if you sort of make good content, but also you put in the high effort, you're more memorable. It's like you can have a viral video, but you need someone to have a viral video that sticks in someone's mind for then like maybe like a week afterwards, or they'll see you and be like, oh, that's the guy who made this thing. Because some people now, I'll go to an event and I'll meet other creators, and there'll be people who are like, I definitely recognize them, but I can't remember where from. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, I made this video. And I'm like, oh, and you're thinking for ages about like, okay, what did that person actually make? And that's why I'm trying to make each thing I do as memorable as possible. So therefore you kind of build this long-term relationship where people see your video and they know there's going to be some sort of worthwhile payoff at the end. I feel I'm much more selective now about what I put out. There'll be like one video a week where I'll film it and I'm like, it's just not quite hit the mark and I won't post it. because you're building trust of there is going to be some big payoff at the end here, and keep them sticking around for that. So it's kind of building on that. You end up getting to a point where all of your videos are performing really well because you're not putting any low value content out. So you got that trust with the audience. I mean, TikTok you can get away with more throwaway things because it's how to describe TikTok.
I'd say it's more disposable, the content.
It's definitely more disposable. It's surprisingly, it's more conversational, more personality driven, whereas I think Instagram's more content driven. So like more conversational things do better on TikTok. I personally optimize for Instagram because I think it's the most valuable platform still. Sure. Despite not getting paid for views, you're building a platform that brands will come to. So like even now, I'll do brand deals, the same video across all platforms. And in theory, I've got roughly, Instagram's more now, but when I had roughly similar followings on TikTok and Instagram, a brand deal will always get 4 times the reach on Instagram as it will TikTok, because Instagram it's more likely to push it to those people. So it's more valuable in that sense.
How quickly do you know if something is going to do well or not?
You'll know within the hour. Yeah, you know when a video is going really viral is when people are sharing it to their story. So if you go on your story mentions, you'll see like, oh, I've like it's an hour in and I've got 100 story shares already. Then you know you've done something right. Or even the comments and likes. Like if you're getting like 1 like for every 10 views, so like if you get like the first 100,000 views and you've got 10,000 likes, typically people are responding to it well. Yeah, you'll know within the hour if it's going to... For me, I'm like, okay, within the hour, I'll know if it's going to be over 1 million. But then it's hard to see in terms of the long-term thing. You don't know if it's going to be like a 10 million one then until maybe the next day.
And would you ever, like, let's say, you think a video is going to bang, it doesn't do well at all. Would you ever delete it and then try another day? Or do you just leave it go and let it happen?
I wouldn't delete it and try another day. I'd re-edit it or rehash it and try and repost it a few months later. And I have done that many times in the past. So... people have quite short memories. If it's a really good video or a really good concept and it hasn't done well, it just needs a re-edit, basically. It needs a re-edit. You've not hooked it right at the start. Like maybe the payoff from 10 seconds onwards is really great, but too many people are scrolling before they get to 10 seconds, so they're not getting to that worthwhile payoff. So it maybe needs a slightly different hook, a slightly different intro, and that's something that I actively practice all the time. So even like very early on in my content creation career, there was a video I made. It was called a ham dog. So it's basically a hamburger hot dog hybrid, I think it was. Where I made a bun where it's like a circle bun with like a little hot dog bun coming out of it. So I made these custom buns and basically formed like a burger patty around a hot dog. It was quite a fun the sort of thing at the time. I was like, oh, that was quite a fun idea. I feel like I could have done better. And it's basically because I faffed around so much in the first 10 seconds that people were obviously scrolling past before they got to the payoff. And the first video I posted, it got like 10,000 views. 6 months later, when I was actually that early on, 6 months, you can be an amateur to like an intermediate pro in terms of your editing just by the 6 month process of doing more and more videos. So 6 months later, same video, just retrimmed it, took it down from 40 seconds to like 25 seconds, and the same video got 6 million. So just a slightly different edit. And even now, I'll take a video from a year ago or 6 months ago, and I'll give it a little rehash. Even if it got like 300,000 views, if it's a really cool concept, I'm like, if I re-edit that, it could go over 1 million. So I'll do that all the time, and often it will. I think you're constantly learning and getting better at creating content. So you've got all this footage in your phone. You know, I've got like 8 terabytes of iCloud storage now. I've got the past 3 years worth of clips. If I search food in my phone, I'll do that now actually. I'll search food, see how many things it comes up with. Food. 33,341 photos and videos.
That's incredible.
And if I search people, that's always a fun one.
6.
Okay, 12,000. So 3 times as many clips of food. Oh, people includes me being in the shot with food, by the way. So,
so
nice.
So I still want to talk about the different techniques and stuff. So you scran, obviously, 10 out of 10. The sword, is that to get people engaged? Is it just an Easter egg?
So that is what I call an Easter egg. So those sort of things are more for like building audience relationships, but also making people rewatch the videos. So leaving things in for like a second in the middle of the video. So the sword is, for example, is like everyone who like actively watches me now knows it's coming. Yeah. But you've always got to remember is every video you're always going to reach new people no matter what. So you need to leave things in for those new people. Because if a new person is rewatching the video 3 times to be like, did he cut that lamb shoulder with a sword? Yeah. Those rewatches, the algorithm looks at them. Oh, this new person's rewatching this video 3 times. It must be a really good video. And that's the same thing with sort of swords, going topless for a second,
Yeah.
but only a second. You don't
Yeah,
you don't want to like be topless the whole time. Just a second, just to confuse the eyes, or changing outfits, or leaving something in the background of a shot. Or even like some people just mispronounce words and that gets it. But although that's something that can wind people up, so typically try and avoid the ones that just wind people up and do the ones that like are kind of like neutral, but we'll get the rewatches. So mispronouncing words, you are just kind of going to wind people up.
Engagement
But
bait, isn't
use
it?
a sword, go topless for a second, leave a Halloween mask in the background, so someone thinks there's someone in the background of your shot. Miss the bowl when you're throwing chips into the pan or something. You miss the pan, a few of them go on the floor. If you're tossing spice into something, if half of it goes on the floor, that's what's great about doing it outside, is that a little hose at the end of the day is a great thing.
That was going to be my next question. Why'd you cook outside?
Partly because natural lighting,
Right.
because most people are trapped inside for most of daylight, whereas I am outside for pretty much all of daylight. So yeah, natural lighting, because it's something that people aren't getting enough of. So it's nice to see on a screen, even if they're not getting enough in real life, especially this time of year when the sun's like, realistically now, the latest you can film this time of year is like 3:30. After 3:30, the lighting is just dead. So you need to get it all done between like 9 and 3:30, which is half the amount of daylight we were getting like a few months ago.
And how long? Two questions. What's the average cost of one of these creations, and how long does it take you to make one of them?
Average cost. Well, I know what my monthly spend on groceries is because I've got to track it for my tax deduction. It's like 700 quid a month.
How many are you making a week?
4 a week. So 4 a week times by
maths
so
degree.
16 and 700 quid a month. So it's like 40 quid a video. Is that?
I've seen worse. It's not too bad.
Yeah, just 40. Yeah, 40 quid a video is the average, but could be worse. Well, I need to double check my finances actually, because I think it was 700 quid when I actually checked maybe like 4 months ago, but I've not recently looked at it, so I'll have to reassess.
What's the most expensive item you've ever put in a burrito?
It's not even a good one either. So it winds me up. I bought some king crab legs on the internet, and they're only expensive because they're rare and they're hard to catch. But the meat is just objectively worse than small crabs or lobster or other things. So a king crab leg cluster sent me back 132 quid. And it didn't even taste nice.
I was going to ask that.
It tasted alright because I did this one recently. I got it out of the shell, and you won't believe how little meat you got. For 300 quid. Wasn't enough meat for a burrito. I had to do a surf and turf burrito, and the 130 quid worth of crab was just the surf part of it. And I basically just like battered and fried it, and it tasted like decent fried fish, but you could have used anything else. Like you did not get 130 pounds worth of value out of it. I would have happily got something like
I was going to ask that actually, like in terms of, because you obviously made a lot of these things. Has there ever been one that's just like, that is disgusting, but then you're eating it just to go through get the video?
When everything you've seen on my feed has been nice. If it's shit, can I swear?
Yeah.
If it's shit, I won't post it. And there's been a few, but it happened more often when I started because I was so much worse at cooking back then.
Yeah.
So there'll be more blunders. I tell you one thing recently I did where people suggested I did it a different way. So basically, recently I made a Scotch egg inside a Scotch egg inside a Scotch egg inside a Scotch egg, and everyone was commenting saying, "Oh, you should, for that much meat, you should have done an ostrich egg and done a Scotch egg with an ostrich egg." But I did make a Scotch egg with an ostrich egg once, and it was bloody awful. And because ostrich eggs, the egg yolk has a lower cooking temperature than the egg white, aka when you boil an ostrich egg, by the time the yolk's fully cooked, the white hasn't fully cooked yet. So you basically have to aggressively hard boil the ostrich egg to get an egg, and the white doesn't taste very nice. It's basically a worse tasting version of a normal egg. It's just bigger. If you scramble it together, you can get the flavour you can get away with. But when the eggs and yolk are separate, it's horrible. So I made an ostrich egg, Scotch egg, and like it went in the bin because it was horrible, and I've never cooked with ostrich egg since.
Yeah. And who eats, like, because these obviously gigantic creations, who eats it?
Whoever he's doing the podcast with.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can see them secrets over there.
So my cleaner will take a bag out the freezer every other week.
So at the end you'll freeze bits of it and put it in.
Yeah. So typically, if you see a burrito on my feed, I've eaten half of it, and the other half's got wrapped up in foil and has been given to a friend or family.
Yeah.
So I even try and make things that are more reheatable for that very reason. So in like a burrito, I'll put like something cabbage-based slaw rather than lettuce and guac because lettuce and guac don't reheat very well. So I'll try and even tailor the content so they're more reheatable and more edible for other people.
Amazing.
But yeah, I probably eat on average, I would say half the food I make and half is other people that get like a wrapped up in foil version later.
Drop my address. You can bring it around.
You mentioned just now, excuse me, about the Scotch egg and the Scotch egg and the Scotch egg. I will never forget one where you made a burrito, sliced it, dehydrated it, turned it into a spice which you marinated your chicken with to make a burrito, which you deep fried and put in a burrito.
Yeah.
Firstly, when does it end? Like, what's the limit? Like, how far can this go?
Well, funny story about that one. So the specific one you're referencing was a few months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
I watched that one today, actually.
Half of that one went in the freezer.
Right.
And I got it out of the freezer because I was kind of clearing space. I was like, well, any of my friends want to have this burrito that's been dehydrated, seasoned, refried, whatever. And I was like, it's probably not the most, because it's been inside and the friedness has just kind of gone soggy. So you're never going to get it crispy again when in the reheat. So I was like, right, maybe I can do something with this. So what I did is I put it in a blender with some more water, added some flour, turned that into a dough, used that dough to make a burrito and some extra mini burritos, and coated one big burrito in the other mini burritos to make a burrito.
We have like a burrito count
to make a burrito, wrapped it in mini burritos. And I made a second video, and the first video got like 12 million views. The second one's already got like 15 million. So
Really? I haven't seen that one.
And all I did for the second one is just blend it up and make a new burrito.
I think that's the one I saw today, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's been two versions where the first one it was like a 70-second video with just the bit you're saying, and then I made that 70 seconds more like 40 seconds to allow more time for my extra steps on the end of it, sort of thing, and then rehashed it and just got a lot more traction out of the same sort of thing.
You're done now with it.
Well, it's worked. Annoyingly,
you should have kept some.
I ended up giving away I ate half of that one. I ended up giving away the other half, and I was like, I should have put that in the freezer because then in like, a couple of months I could then do something else with that and really took the piss with it. But
that's amazing.
I was like, I should have kept the other half of that one.
You got to start again. You got to start the whole cycle.
Or I could just make something that looks similar to it and pretend that was the same one.
How did it taste?
In fact, do you want to hear a secret?
Go on.
When I blended the burrito to make a new dough with it, when I tried to make the tortillas, they were too fragile and tore really easily. So I made a fake dough that looked like the blended dough.
Wow.
All the tricks.
Is that the title now? El Burrito Monster. The
So I basically added like a stock pot and various like spices and other bits and bobs to make it look like it was a blended burrito dough, but actually it was just like a flavoured tortilla dough that looked the same colour.
What's been your favourite one you've ever made, like taste-wise? You've like scrammed into it and you gone, that is lovely. What's the best one?
It's normally like anything with like an Indian flavour profile.
I was saying that would be my favourite one, the Indian ones.
It is my favourite cuisine. But although sometimes it's like quite nice to have just a steak and I keep it simple, or something lamb. I don't know. I love. There's been so many that I've eaten, and it's like, to be fair, it'll always taste better if I've like been for a run first. So sometimes. I've been out for like a 15k run. I got back and then I finished a video and ate in it. Even though it maybe wasn't the best thing I've ever made, right then and there it did taste like that. So I did one with a running influencer called Johnny Davies. I don't know if you've seen him anywhere, but he came up to Manchester. We went for like a 15k run together and then got back and made the dish. And it was a pretty classic one. It was a birria lamb pizza burrito with like steak and slow cooked like beef short rib. And although it's not like Indians, it's not my usual flavour profile. But when we bit into that, I'd like fasted all day till like 3 p.m. at this point, so I hadn't eaten a single thing. Yeah. I'd run 15k, and then that first bite was like, that hits hard.
And because like the creativity is like it's mind blowing for me in terms of food. Do you ever have dreams about I should make this, and then wake up in cold sweats in the night thinking I've got to write that down?
All the time. I'll often be in bed now, and I can't. If I've thought of an idea, I'll be like, right, I can't go to sleep until I've got a notes app with all my future ideas. So I've got like 100 ideas in there that are yet to be done. And whenever I do the idea, I'll add it to the done list, and I'll be like, here's the to-do list. So I've got a list as long as my arm of things still to make.
Are there things on that list that you've tried, it's failed, but you still wanna do?
Shall I have a look at the list?
Let's get the list.
See
can we pick your next video?
So video ideas. This one's called Video Ideas 9. So it's the 9th notes tab that I'm on before I've refreshed and got a new one. So
right, so let's see these notes then.
So it's a bit of an eclectic mix of ideas that often I'll combine various different ones to come up with this. So I've kind of got a large, thin, square hash brown slice open to make sandwich.
Brilliant.
So that's like a kind of idea. I've got doner kebab shakshuka. I've got tomato soup, grilled cheese burrito to dip because it's soup season. I've got soft shell crab crusted burrito. So the plan with that one is basically to have it on the outside and then deep fry it. So like soft shell crabs, basically a crabs where the shells are soft and you can eat them. So you don't need to worry about picking and peeling them. So there's a few ideas, just to name a few, but there's like 100 more. So I won't go through too many of them. But it's kind of like, I've got various things for those in the freezers. The soft shell crabs are in the freezer ready to go. I just have not backed myself quite yet to do the execution of how to get them looking pretty.
How big is the freezer then? Must be big with all.
Well, I've got 3 freezers, obviously.
Wow.
I had to,
one for dead bodies, one for...
I got the classic standard kitchen fridge freezer, and then we've got the 2 garage freezers bought off Gumtree. So kind of overflow space for I've got an entire freezer dedicated to like flatbreads and wraps.
Wow,
It's incredible.
Yeah.
do they, after they've been frozen, do they still roll and?
Yeah, still roll fat. You got to microwave them. I mean, there's a limit, right? So like, I took a pack out the other day that had been in there for like over a year, and like, this was just like eat rather than to make content with, and they did kind of crumble up and go a bit dodge. But I've got the main ones that I use for the burritos, the good ones, and those ones they last like 6 months at room temperature anyway, and I don't need to freeze them because I get through them in 6 months. I buy them by the box. Yeah. I'll buy a box of like 100 of them, and it will go within 6 months, obviously.
That's crazy.
And what's the strangest place you've ever got food inspiration from?
That's a very niche question.
We like niche on this show.
I don't know.
Okay, well, if we're sticking with a niche, if your kitchen equipment could talk, what would they say about you as a chef?
Take it easy, pal. I mean, I've broken quite a few things recently. I need to get a new food processor because I've been a bit too aggressive with what I've been putting in it. I've been using it to knead bread dough. It's quite a heavy duty thing to swirl around bread dough. So my food processor is out for the count at the moment. So that's a new thing I need to source. I've got this entire big cupboard now dedicated to like miscellaneous things that I've like had like an idea for a video. It's got things like a bundt cake tin in, for example, or like a baguette tray, or like various niche things that I've had like, oh yeah, I'll get that on Amazon. So the amount of things I've just like, had to next day delivery because I've had an idea for a video and it's just filling this cupboard now. So when I finally move down south, I've got like a lorry's worth of stuff to bring with me, like
and the freezers.
Yeah. Well, I've got when I move to take with me, I'll have 4 pizza ovens, 5 barbecues, 3 air fryers, 2 slow cookers, 2 freezers.
Can you wait? You moving to London?
Well, Hertfordshire, Surrey. So I'm looking at
just a big yellow storage.
yeah. Well, I'll need a full lorry. Yeah. I'm one of them. Like one of the barbecues weighs like 300 kilograms. So it's like it needs disassemble. I'm not that strong, unfortunately. So I need to disassemble that into like 3 pieces to be able to move it with someone else through the house. That's going to be a fun little thing.
What's like the biggest disaster you've ever had whilst making one of these things? Whether it's like kitchen disaster.
2 days ago, I had a bit of a dramatic moment. So it was a simple thing as leaving the grill on, and there's obviously fat in the grill tray. And I was there. The grill was on inside because I'd used it to melt something, and I was outside filming like the last 20 minutes of a video. And literally 20 minutes, the entire thing was billowing with smoke. Literally thick layer of smoke from like, and the grill pouring fire out all over the thing. So the oven is still working, and when it was still working afterwards, I was so chuffed that the damage had but there's literally soot over every wall of the kitchen.
Yeah,
and I've had to go. It took me like 2 hours to go around with like a spray and a cloth to get the soot off everything. I had a fan in the room, and the fan was windows open, blowing towards the thing, but the fan was filled with soot as well. So I had to take the fan apart and wipe all the soot off that.
Would have been a good time to be outside.
Well, yeah, luckily no lasting damage, I think. But that was quite dramatic. Turn your grill off, or clean the fat tray under the grill. That's the
that
lesson.
takes too long. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you really want to put into a burrito but haven't done yet? Like what's top tier? Whether it's too expensive or you can't make it work right. What's the craziest thing?
What do I want to put into a burrito? I tell you what, when I get a dog, when I got my own place,
not the dog.
there'll be some doggy burritos coming up, I reckon.
You can see Monty over there is not happy with that. Actually does look happy.
That's Curtis's dog.
Hungry for it, yeah. my dog will be a little bit bigger than that. I'm going for an Aussie Shepherd.
Beast.
Because I do a lot of long distance running, so I want a dog to be able to do it with me.
Yeah.
And the dogs that can do that, most of them are quite troubled and quite needy, whereas the Aussie Shepherds are ones that they're slightly more they're easier to manage while also being able to run long distances. So that's my logic there.
Nice.
That one will be fun.
That's not actually my dog, by the way.
Oh,
just-
whose dog is it?
Just came in the frame and we thought it'd be funny.
Just keep it up there.
Nice.
So moving on now.
Yes.
We've covered quite a lot of burrito topics, but there's never enough. Moving on to brand partnerships and content and kind of more of the behind the scenes stuff. You've worked with some really cool brands. You've worked with Samsung. Harvester is one that you have a long-standing kind of partnership with.
They like me, the Harvester gang. It's,
They
they especially like Facebook, actually. Apparently my Facebook audience has a massive crossover with theirs.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, I've done various bits and bobs with them. I think I've maybe done 8 or 9 videos with Harvester now.
Nice.
Another one of my long-standing ones, I've done a lot with My Protein. That's like a 12-month contract that got refreshed again. Deli Kitchen, a flatbread company, which is a bit of a no-brainer because it's very easy for me to think of flatbread-related ideas. I previously was working with another flatbread company. I ended up working with them both for a while, and there was like a crossover and competition, and they both reached out to me like, why are you doing us and our direct competitor? And I was like, well, there's no exclusivity in the contract.
Excellent.
They were both performing really well, but then they're both in a bit of a bidding war for who got me. So I ended up
Who did?
ended up getting double the amount of money for half the amount of work. So it was quite a nice little
Win-win.
and their value is still really high because I think in terms of the amount of reach the content's getting, it's on their own pages, it's getting like hundreds of thousands or even millions of views without even having any attachment to my page onto it, because the algorithmic principles we referenced earlier, you can kind of apply them to anything. It's called white label content effectively, where you make videos for their page. And if you work out the storytelling process and the sort of the idea generating process, you can make even simpler things and just sort of word it correctly and edit it correctly that it will still get loads of reach. So
What's the strangest brand that's reached out to you?
I've had I've had like budgie smugglers wanting to do something.
That would be an interesting hook.
And I was
to the
like,
video.
I'm good with like, the occasional topless clip. I'm not sure if I want to film an entire video in budgie smugglers.
How much would it take?
I'd do it.
I'm not invested, to be clear. This isn't for me.
For Curtis, how much would it cost?
I would do it, yeah. But yeah.
What's the number?
What?
How much are we going to pay?
I don't know.
No, fair enough.
Well, minimum 5 figures, maybe a little chunk more.
How much you got in your bank? We'll get that for Christmas.
So back to the brands. You worked with Tingly Teds.
Yes.
How was that? Was any contact with Ed? Did he engage with the video?
Unfortunately not, and I was really hoping.
Ed Sheeran's hot sauce.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he made it in collaboration with Heinz, who I've done a few bits with in the past. But I was really hoping that maybe Ed will see my video, but he didn't, because I am a very big Ed Sheeran fan. He's probably one of my top 3 artists, I would say. I've seen him live. I've done covers of his songs in burrito editions. One of them was, I did the same one every time. It was "Shape of You" by Ed Sheeran, and I did so many song renditions of it. It was like beans and rice, salami, grilled chicken thighs, and my salsa, cheese and guac, add my cheddar, then my onions and peppers, jalapenos, lettuce and wrap, and then I will seal you, and then I will slice through. Looks quite nice. I'm gonna scram. And I did that like version of that, and I've millions of views back in the day on these Ed Sheeran covers, and I was like, maybe it's a dream come true. Let's get an Ed thing, but no, unfortunately not.
He could have seen it though. Might have.
He might have seen it. I don't know. He probably doesn't do the approvals of the brand partnerships, but it's probably a team. He just kind of developed a hot sauce with them that he quite liked, and he was like, "Yeah, that's good for me." And then the
Who's
recipe.
the most famous person that's interacted with your content?
Gordon's pretty massive, I would say. I don't know if anyone more famous than Gordon has, but he's interacted a few times actually. He's done 4. He's done 4 reaction videos now. The first 2 were like early on, and he roasted me. I remember the first time I was on holiday with my mates in Portugal.
Did you do the Beef Wellington one? Did you do that one?
Yeah.
He did a Beef Wellington one, yeah. And the first one he did there, I was on holiday in Portugal, and I got a notification through Gordon Ramsay's duetted your video. And this was really early on, so I was making quite simple things back then. It was actually literally making like a Jamie Oliver recipe, funnily enough.
Wow.
It's one of my mum's favourite ones from Jamie, and he reacted to it basically roasting it. And I was like, I wonder if he knew. I wonder if the reason why him or his team selected that video is because they're like, someone's done like one of the parts of that dish is like a Jamie recipe, one of the famous Jamie ones, so we'll roast that. But the first 2 times he roasted me, the second 2 times he was quite positive towards me. And ironically now, I'll see, because obviously in your notifications, if someone with a lot of followers or a verification tick not even a verification. If someone with a lot of followers likes or interacts with your content, you'll see it like at the top of the notification queue. And I'll always see Gordon, like it'll happen like 2 or 3 times a week. It's honestly half of my videos he likes. And I'm wondering, is that him or is that his team? Is that because it's literally, it always happens like 10, 11 p.m. I'm like, surely his team.
Maybe he's hungry in bed.
That's what I'm thinking. If it was in the day, I'd be like, oh, it's just a member of his team on his TikTok. But because it's like at 11 p.m., I'm like, is he just in bed scrolling TikTok and like, liking my videos? So like, I'm not sure if it's him or if it's his team.
Nice.
But
Gordon, if you're watching.
Well, he follows me, so I did drop him a message. So it'd be like, Gordon, if you ever want a bit of a controversial Wellington, hit me up, I'm your man. But he got swiftly ignored. He's a very busy man.
Do you often see a lot of like celebs, famous people interacting with your stuff?
It happens quite a lot, yeah. Because you see him at the top of the queue, so it's a lot of like rugby players mainly, or football players.
Boys.
I mean, in terms of like the sportsmen who seem to interact with my content, rugby and running are the 2 main sports where people are like into it. Football, not so much, but and especially gym as well. Like in terms of where people who like my content and people who do like sports, the interaction is lowest with like gym people, because all the gym people are like, I'm gonna have broccoli and chicken breast and rice. Whereas like long distance runners, for example, like whenever I've done like a marathon or a half marathon, I'll get a lot of interactions with people there, because a lot of them are sort of into the kind of things I'm making, because they're less worried about like calorie perfection and aesthetics, and they're just like good food and endurance and all that kind of thing. But yeah, rugby players are obviously a really big one. I get a lot of those guys, like Ellis Genge, Alex Dombrandt. There's been a few others, but.
Nice. And whilst we're on the topic of celebs, I've got one question about that. You can invite 3 famous people to come around yours for a burrito. They can either be alive or dead. Who are you picking?
I've never actually thought about that before. I feel like it's a classic question. So, alive or dead, 3 famous people. Ed Sheeran. Easy dub for Ed Sheeran. He's definitely on there. Gordon. Although that'd be quite nerve-wracking, I think, because then the pressure's really on to not mess it up. So, but we'll go Ed Sheeran, Gordon, and just to cause a bit of drama, we'll get Marco in there as well. Marco Pierre, just to have a bit of drama at the dinner table.
I thought you were going to invite Trump.
No, well, Trump, Kamala, and Obama. Yeah, no.
Good burrito.
Because Gordon and Marco had a really big fallout. I believe. The thing that made Marco really hate Gordon was I think Gordon turned up to Marco's wedding with a film crew. Because he was like filming content at Marco's wedding, and then there's been like a hatred ever since. Drama.
Love that.
Obviously, Marco was Gordon's mentor back in the day.
Yeah.
But Gordon is very much a content creator first, chef second, realistically.
Absolutely. He'd turn up with a film crew to the burrito party.
Like, he is a content creator first, chef second nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously a very good chef, even though he does mess up quite a few times. He makes a rubbish grilled cheese. And also, his most viral beef Wellington recipe video is a rubbish way to make a beef Wellington. He messed it up, and he missed one of the crucial steps. And it was his most viral beef Wellington recipe, and it's wrong.
Right.
He forgot to put crepes in, so he just did the beef, the mushroom duxelle, the prosciutto, then the puff pastry. What happens when you do that, and it happens in the video, is all the juices have nowhere to go, nowhere to be absorbed, and you open it up, and it just leaks out.
Oh.
But now in his restaurant and in his latest recipe, he's done the correct way of, if you're going to do prosciutto, great, nice for the saltiness, nice for the flavour, but also the crepe layer, because you need to soak up the juices, because there are going to be a lot of juices coming out of the mushrooms and the beef and all that kind of malarkey. And he also made a grilled cheese that the cheese didn't melt, so he messes up too. But obviously he's bashing out like so much content that like he's not putting that much thought into everything he does necessarily.
I had his welly at his restaurant a couple months ago, and
Is it
there was no leakage. It was delicious.
Yeah, they'll use the crepe. Was that one of the ones in London?
Seddon Street. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Good. I approve.
There we go.
You've been asked number one, obvious question. Your 3 invites. Second one, death row. What is your meal? Is it a burrito or a welly?
I mean, death row, you're going to have to go like multiple things, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, death row, it's going to be. There's certain things that resonate, I guess. You're going to have to get a chicken madras garlic naan in there, and it's got to be done. Probably like a classic chicken and chorizo burrito, just like spiced, grilled, maybe al pastor chicken, chorizo, fresh guac, scotch bonnet salsa, sour cream, cheese, the whole shebang, coriander, lime rice.
He's not thought about
No,
this.
yeah.
I've not. I'm riffing on the spot. I'm just whatever I'm hungry for right
It's
now.
breakfast, I think.
Yeah. But, and obviously like a steak. And my preferred current way to cook a steak is both on the barbecue and in a pan. So you get the best of both worlds. If you do it on the barbecue, you get the charcoal flavour, you get the nice char in it, but you miss out on like the garlic butter basting element. So you charcoal it, you get a really hard sear, then into a pan like a medium heat, get the butter in there, get the garlic, rosemary, thyme, and then like a couple of chilies in there, and just give it a little baste for like 4 minutes until it comes to about 40 degrees, we'll say.
This prison chef's going to have a lot of
40 degrees. Pull it off. It'll come up to about 45. Slice it. Ribeye, obviously. Ribeye is objectively the best steak. Like, I don't know what you would say other than ribeye, to be honest. A fillet's just a bit rubbish. Like, it's all right. It's tender, but like, nah. Nah. But yeah.
And who would cook it?
Me.
You'd want to cook it?
Yeah, if I'm going to die, I want to cook my own last meal. And the thing is, when you like learn to cook, even if you're not necessarily the best chef in the world, you're probably the best chef for you, because you can make it exactly to your flavor profile and your desires. So it's always going to taste better if you make it, because you can like I like loads of spice. I want a bit of heat in there, and I want this. I want that.
So you talk about the way you do it your way. You cook the way you like it. Is there anything you do? It like unintentionally, just the way you cook in videos that people go crazy. Like, you shouldn't be cutting something like that. Have you got a technique?
Well, I feel like a lot of the mistakes you make, you kind of only make once. And when you make so many videos, the things that people criticize, you're like, okay, maybe something you didn't know, but now you do. So when you've made like 1,500 videos or something like that I've done, I've had all the comments already, and I used to read all of them. Nowadays, it's a little bit harder. But I still see a lot of them. But yeah, if I mess up, I'm like, oh yeah, fair. I did mess that up.
Give us some examples.
But now there's things that I'll do that like chefs are like, oh, he must be professionally trained because he's doing it like the really like technical correct way. And I'm like, well, here's a video I did it the wrong way, and I got loads of comments giving me flack about it. So I'm just a dude who watches internet videos of cooking, and I've over time perfected my ability. I mean, when I started out, I was just an average home cook. Like I wasn't really good at cooking back then. And for example, even pizza, making pizza. Now I can make pizza akin to your wood-fired restaurants, but that's because I've made
millions of them.
Hundreds of pizzas now, and every pizza you make, you get a little bit better. You're like, hydration was a little bit low on that one. I didn't let it rise long enough. The one thing that I do struggle with is timing, because like I'll make a dough and I go off feeling and look now. Whereas if I'm like, I need it to be ready at this time, well, I'll have the dough out and it'll be rising, and it's like, it's just not risen at all. So I need to like give it another 2 hours. So whenever I'm cooking for people, I'm like, come over for dinner party. We'll eat at 7, and obviously we eat at 9:30 because things happen.
Nice.
And so you mentioned like people like criticizing on your videos there. Do haters bother you? Do you get haters like?
I've been discussing this with content creator friends of mine. I get, very luckily, a surprisingly low amount of hate, especially nowadays. I used to get a little bit more. But I get so little hating compared to other people. Obviously, the way society is geared up at the moment, women get more criticism. Like my female content creator friends, like if a girl was making what I make, every comment would be like, "Oh, maybe you should make a salad." Like unfortunately, that's the way like men and women seem to be more critical of what women do on the internet. So my hate is so minuscule compared to that. It's mostly just people being like, that looks nice, that's fun. I mean, obviously, when you do like food from a certain country, those people from that country, and if you do a spin on it, they're like, especially the Italians, like, why are you doing this to my guy, banana? But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Italians can shove one. I'll do what I want with your cuisine when I want, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Down the barrel of the camera as well. Brilliant.
Amazing.
Well, I guess that's a good time to ask you, what's your controversial food take? Is it something, hatred of Italian?
Carbonara in a burrito.
What is my no? Because pasta in a burrito kind of sucks. That's my.
I feel like you should just do it. For the Italians.
I have. I've done lasagna burritos. I've done carbonara burritos, and these are things that I would do. I used to do these things just I'll get views and whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, I want to get views, but also I want to eat it. So I want something like that that's actually nice. Now I'm like, whereas pasta in a burrito just kind of sucks. And I can see people making it, and I'm like, nah, it sucks. And like I made this one thing, and it was probably the least enjoyable thing I've ever posted to my page, and it was if he's watching this, sorry Seps, but it was a vegan lasagna burrito that I made with this vegan content creator, and the meat sauce was nice, the pasta nice, but like as soon as you added the gross cheese sauce with the fake vegan cheese and put it in a burrito. It was just this horrible, like the vegan cheese infected the whole thing, and we should have made like a more of like a cashew nut based nutritional yeast sauce, but we did a fake vegan cheese sauce, and this was like 2 years ago when vegan cheese was still really bad.
Still really bad now, I think.
I've not tried it in a while, but apparently it's got better, but I can't a testament to that because I've not tried it. So the vegan cheese made the whole burrito grim, and it was a case of after a couple of bites, it had to go in the bin because it was inedible. Like it was a bit gross, but that's the worst thing I've ever made that's actually gone on my page.
Yeah.
And now I'm more like, and it's a collab as well, so you can't just not post it because you're like, oh, you've done it with someone. So like,
what is the worst thing that didn't make it to the page?
Honestly, my mind is so compartmentalized in so many places that there's been so many things that I've filmed and I haven't posted. Like I don't know, there's been a few. What have I done? I've overcooked things by mistake. Right. Like that's the most common occurrence is if I've just like I once did a video. I did a tandoori lamb Wellington. The first take, my meat thermometer wasn't working, so I eyeballed it and it came out and it was like almost grey all the way through. So luckily I had the spare ingredients to rehash it relatively easy and just had to refilm it the next day. And that was actually for a collab as well with another content creator. And I just said to him, I was like, look, we've used half the lamb here. I'll just film the exit shots of the good version I'm going to make in 2 days' time, and we'll have the scran shot of the one now because it'll be far enough away that they can't see that the meat's cooked all the way through, and we'll do the close-up shots when it's nice and pink with the one that I redo in a few days' time.
Do you ever get sick of making these videos? Do you get bored of it? Like sick? It's like I can't be bothered.
So much less sick than I did of sitting at a desk doing emails and tapping away at Excel spreadsheets. It's my job, and it's genuinely, I would do it for fun if I wasn't getting paid to do it. Like it is just fun. Like the cooking part, I would never get tired of. Like never. It's the editing part that I'm like, at some point, if I can get someone to edit it as good as I do, then I'll offload that bit because that's just like that is just sitting at a desk. Clipped. Yeah. I mean, maybe I might try and find an AI software, and there's a few AI softwares that do the editing for you, but it's quite tricky. But the editing is the boring bit. I quite enjoy the food bit because it's like. I'm spending all day outside. It's great for my skin, great for my health. I'm getting like 20,000 steps a day, cooking whatever I want, and it's just like good fun.
That's great.
And what does like the future for your content look like? How are you going to evolve it from just making these massive burritos into?
Food. Luckily, is one of the most like versatile content niches you can get. Like there's an infinite amount of things you can do with food, and it's basically picking up on what's trending at the moment. Because I mean, the logic is always make something that's going to be approachable to 50% of the people that are going to be watching it. So it's almost like through a screen, you can't necessarily show the flavor profile so much. So you're more showing the concept, and people have to be able to imagine what that's going to taste like. So if you show something completely new to someone that they've never tried before, they're not going to be able to connect with the content because they've never tried it before. So you can't be like, oh, I'm going to make what's an example? Like an orange and tarragon and turmeric sauce or whatever it might be, a niche flavor combination that maybe is really nice, but like, to the average viewer, they're watching that thing and I can't even imagine what that's going to taste like. So it's not something they can connect with. So it's basically picking up on what people are eating out and about and trying to do spins on that in a way that they can imagine how it would taste. But then they're also like inspired by the creativity of what you're doing. And I feel like as long as you kind of keep picking up on the different ideas, scroll your Instagram feed and think, oh, that's one way of preparation of a food. That's one set of flavor profiles. I'll try and combine those two into one video, and people get it and connect with it and follow along, sort of thing.
And have you had people imitate your content or like steal your ideas?
Le Burrito Monster.
I mean, sure, a couple of times, but like the thing is you never know if like they did copy your idea or if they independently came up with it, because it's like some of the ideas that you see people do, and funny enough, I've reposted videos of mine from like a while before. Like I've made it 2 years ago. Maybe I rehash it and did it again now. And I was accused of stealing someone else's content who made it 6 months before that, a year and a half after I made the first one. So I'm like, you mother. But then that's when I was made aware of being accused of stealing someone else's content. And actually, one time when I did come up with something independently of someone else, and they did make it first. It was I called it longioli, which is basically I made a ravioli about a meter long, rolled up into like a spiral, and just to be able to cook it in the pan. And I called it longioli, which is a ravioli that was like that long. And I saw like a different pasta company had actually made it like a year earlier, and they called it like a pasta dragon or something. And they independently came. I mean, it's making a really long ravioli. The only way you can cook that long is by swirling it up. So like yeah, people were like, oh, this other person did it, and I was like, oh, but I mean, the way they had done it, they hadn't necessarily edited it algorithmically to be like super viral. So my video got like 12 million views. There's a year earlier that I then I got tagged in and found out was like 100,000. So less people had seen their original, more people had seen mine. And they ended up doing a rehash of their original video, and people were accusing them of stealing mine. So I had to like go in a comment, and they ended up pinning it. I was like, guys, they came up with it first a year ago. We both thought of it independently. This is a really cool idea. Props to these guys. It looks great, because people were accusing them of stealing my idea because my one had more views like a little bit later. So there's always I feel like as long as it's like got a little bit of a spin on it, like we can all come up with independent ideas. And I've seen people make similar things to me and be like, there's a chance it was inspired by me. There's a chance they came up with it independently, but like, it's all just food. Let's not get too pressed about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with food, isn't it? It kind of blurs the lines. There's only so many ideas realistically that you can have. I mean, you're still finding new ideas and new things, but yeah.
The super viral ideas is like, it's always things that are like constantly like a lot of people can connect with, right? So there's probably like at any one time there's a finite number of possible ideas. There's going to be intersects because there's like hundreds or thousands of creators all trying to make these new crazy ideas. So we're always going to think of similar things at similar times. Yeah. And one guy messaged me when I posted a video. He's like, bro, I like filmed this exact same idea this week. And he sent me a picture of his camera roll. He'd filmed it, not edited it yet. So we'd both come up with something similar. It was like I did a pizza fondue video. So it's like you get a big pot of tomato, cheese sauce, pepperoni, you dip dough balls into it. It's really delicious. I mean, kind of obvious idea, really delicious. But yeah, they were like, oh yeah, I also literally filmed this idea. So just like, I'm not copying you. I've also just filmed this. And I was like, yeah, don't no stress, mate. Your food looks great.
Nice.
We're all going to come up with similar ideas.
Love it. In terms of like the content side of things, now that you've grown so big, you've got millions across all your channels. How do you like deal with that? Do you feel pressure? Do you feel like you need to deliver? Does it impact you?
There's certainly a constant looming element of like, I can't switch off nowadays, but I kind of just had to become a new version of myself. I've killed the old me, and I'm now just a creation of my own choices, I guess. It's definitely a weird existence I've brought myself onto, because I was just like, I was a guy living in my own bubble, just getting on with things, and now it's like, I can't go to the pub without people being like, hey, El Burrito guy. And it makes it funner for me. It's I don't know if it will get to the point where it's annoying, but at the moment it's like, it's an excitement, especially when I'm with like, even if I'm with like a group of friends who I've not seen in a while, and we're just like, we're chatting, when people come up to me, that they're like, for them, it's like such a novelty. As for my usual friends, it's just like, it's a common, like, there's going to be people that are going to be there coming up and asking for a photo or whatever. But it's just kind of fun, to be honest.
And do you get recognised a lot?
It happens, yeah. It's because I don't go out as much as most people. So when I do go out, I'm like, oh, it's happening. So if I was out all the time and it was happening all the time, maybe it would like wear and tear. But I spend most of my life just sort of at home cooking or out running on my own. So I'm only like out in places where people can recognise me every like couple of weeks or so. And it will, when I do that, it happens quite a lot. I'm naturally quite introverted. Like I can happily go a week without interacting with another human being and just sort of crack on with my own bits. And then after a week, I'll be like, right, I need to see people now. Whereas some people like have to see people every day. Whereas I'm good, just like, I like being with people when I'm there, but when I'm on my own, I'm like, it's nice, it's peaceful.
Nice.
But yeah, a build up of all these videos I've been posting. It's kind of like the level of notoriety has just been a slow, gradual thing. So it's not like shooting from zero to here. It's like a slow build where I've like gradually got used to it. Like I remember the first time like getting recognised at a lockdown in Tesco. I was just out shopping and they were in the meat aisle. I was in the meat aisle. I get most of my meat from a butcher's nowadays, but back then I was on a lower budget.
What's like a dream brand you'd love to work with?
Ironically, most of my dream brands I already have worked with.
Love that.
So like I'm a Pepsi Max addict, for example. I'll get through 2 liters of the stuff a day.
That's it.
And I've worked with them a few times. I'm actually trying to break into different content niches at the moment. So I'm trying to post more of the sort of the running side or the travel side, because I've worked with a lot of food brands that I love now, but there's also like so many other things I'm using. Like I'm currently trying to get a trainer sponsor. So I'm doing like all these runs, and because I did all the weight loss and I did it while running, I lost all the weight. My leg strength kind of stayed. So as a result, I'm actually kind of good at running. There's just like an accidental payoff of it all. So like I did my first marathon and got like sub 3 hours.
Bloody hell.
because my legs are nice and bouncy and if I'm well rested, but my body weight is relative to my legs so light now that it feels okay to go at that sort of speed. So now I'm like, oh, now I can go for like 250, 240, maybe one day I get like a 230 marathon.
Because you say you're looking for like a trainer sponsor. Have you got a manager or are you doing it all yourself?
I'd manage all my own inbound, but I got a guy, I got a lad who's doing all my outreach for me now because it's not something I've got the time to do. So he's on the case, getting in touch with brands. He's brought some really exciting things my way. So like, because I'm trying to break into the running space, I'm doing a few bits with Runner. Have you heard of Runner, the training apps? I'm doing a few bits with them now. Because I've had Runner on my phone now for like a year because I've been doing my half marathons and all those kind of bits and bobs. And yeah, I'm currently doing a training plan just for a 5K in December. I've done like 2 marathons the past like month, so now I'm having a bit of a break from those distances because my legs got a bit fried. Yeah. And my first 2 marathons within a month of each other, like 3 weeks apart, and then a half marathon the week after that. Yeah. And I got like really bad Achilles tendonitis and a bit of a dodgy left hip. So I'm like, right, let's have more gaps between marathons in future. It's not good for your legs. And I'm doing a 5K training plan at the moment with Runner and doing like a couple of videos and stories to like show the process. Yeah, and also I'm hoping that will then show other people in the running space like Garmin. Please Garmin, sponsor me. Or like various like trainer brands that I use. I use a few different trainers for like training or races. So hopefully one of them, not going to name any in case one of the other ones wants to work with me.
Nice. Insert brand name here.
Insert the one who I might hopefully be signing with soon, maybe.
Oh, breaking news.
Well, there's a couple that I'm like speaking to because I'd love to like have a trainer sponsor to be able to like a video per month where I'm showing like the running side because surprisingly to me, I was always food content and only food content until maybe like 6 months ago where basically I posted a couple of stories of me at a half marathon. And story views on Instagram, by the way, are as much algorithm based as content. Like people really need to think more about what they do story wise. A lot of throwaway stories, and I see people like they've got like hundreds of thousands of followers, but their stories are getting nowhere, and they're posting 20 stories a day, and they're getting like 2,000 views a story because they're just posting like random stuff that isn't that interesting. About. Whereas I'll post maybe like one story every like couple of days, and each one's getting like hundreds of thousands of views potentially. And it's because it's an algorithm like any other. Like if your story is interesting and people are watching it or sharing it or replying to it, it will then get queued up way earlier in the story list at the top of the thing compared to other people's stories. So a story example that does really well is just a slice and reveal. So you're doing the full video for your feed of the whole process, and just do a slice and reveal story. That will perform really well because the slicing process and the revealing process is it's like a hook, right? So you're watching the video, you're seeing something slice through, you're like, what's he slicing through? What's it going to be? And then you show the reveal, and it's something satisfying, something they might want to rewatch, something they might want to share with people. So that does really well. I also noticed that I was sharing going to like half marathons and marathons, and that was performing really well. So when I did my first marathon a month and a half ago, I posted that to my story, and it got like 250,000 views for a story, which for a non-food story, I was like, damn, that's like almost my highest ever viewed story. So I was like, oh, damn, maybe I can like do more with that. So before then, even before, like 6 to 7 months ago, I was posting the half marathon ones, and they were also reaching a lot of people. So I was like, oh, people are somehow interested in this, even though it's not food and I'm a food page. So I was like, right, maybe I'll try breaking into running content. So I made my first running related video. It was a Wings for Life World Run, which is like a charity event for Wings for Life. It's a charity. So I did that, made a video for it. I got recognised by a few of the videography team there. So one of the lads, he was doing filming for a Red Bull that day. He was like, oh, mate, El Burrito, I love your stuff, mate. So he was filming various bits on the day, and he was flying his drone around, and he emailed me a few of the drone clips he got. I tagged him in the reel because he emailed me. He got a few drone clips of me running around the thing, and the video got like 5 million views, I think, for like a running related video. It had a bit of food in it as well because it's what I ate in the day. But I was like, a running video getting 5 million views, so I kind of like, right, I'll do more of those now. So I've made maybe like 7 or 8 videos now of non-food focused videos, and they've all performed pretty well. So now I'm like, right. People obviously have varied interests. They're interested in various different things. The algorithm is so clever that if you hashtag and caption it correctly, it will show it to the right people. Because, if you put hashtag running, hashtag jogging, hashtag XYZ, it will show it to people interested in running, jogging, XYZ. So the algorithm is so clever that way that if someone's not interested, we won't show it to them. It'll show it to the right people. So you can do varied content on the same page as long as it's geared in the right directions through the hashtag and the captions. Like hashtagging doesn't show it to new people. it's not going to get any more views. It will just show it to the right people. But yeah, so trying to diversify more into running content and also a bit of travel content as well. So I'm actually going to a travel convention tomorrow to hopefully, I've got a meeting booked with like a couple of travel boards because hopefully they'll want to fund a trip to their country. I can advertise why people should visit it. So that's a really fun thing to imagine, being able to just travel the world, get paid to do it. That's the dream. So hopefully I'll be able to break into that as well, which I've done a couple of like holiday vlogs now. Did one at my family holiday earlier in the year with Nielsen, and they like commented, reached out, followed back, and they just dropped me an email. So maybe they want to do something next and this summer coming up. So it's quite nice to show that varied content and be able to live the life you want to live and just content it and get paid to do it along the way. So that's kind of my goal, is just like anything that I'm interested in, I'm going to content. So I've not done any skiing related content yet. So I've got 2 ski trips this season. So I'm going to try and get a couple of videos filmed there, because it's just being able to do the things you love and somehow make it work is like kind of goals, really.
It's the one. So like, I know this podcast hasn't been the most serious in terms of questions because we talk about so many random things, but
I appreciate your love of burritos. I do. Yeah.
Typically our last question is all about life advice, and we asked the guest that's on now to give life advice to the next person, regardless of who they are, or what they do, and what their background is. So the previous guest, they said, be unapologetically you, and she was one of the first female RAF fighter pilots. So what do you think about that advice? And then what would be your life advice for the next guest coming on?
I mean, I think that being apologetic is just an all-round good thing. I mean, a lot of people spend so much of their life like insecure or pretending to be someone they're not, and people aren't connecting with that because people can tell when you're not being authentic. So like being authentically you, like you end up just like people like you more. Like you're so worried about people liking you. You're like, oh, the people are annoyed being around me, doing this and that. So I'm going to try and be someone else to make people like me. And you end up just being yourself, and then they're like, oh, people like me now. So it's like a weird thing where you've been trying so hard to be someone you're not, and then you are who you are, then suddenly you become more likable and more like fun to be around. Just so good advice from her.
And then what would be your advice for the next guest? I don't know who the next person is on, but we'll be sure to ask it.
My advice would be, don't let fear of embarrassment or judgment stop you from doing whatever you want to do. So many people don't do the thing because they're afraid of being judged. And especially in the UK, we've got much more of a culture of dragging down ideas, especially compared to the US. That's why the American dream is so alive. Like if in America, like, oh, I've got this business idea, I'll do this. And the automatic reaction over there seems to be, great, how are you going to make it happen? Whereas over here, it's like, you can't do that. You can't pull it off. But in reality, you can. You can harness your own brain and you can choose to do whatever you want to do. You just got to put the time and the work in. Like it might take years and years to get there, but like you can just do it. And don't be afraid of judgment. Just do it.
I love that.
Post that video online. You know, send that email asking for a promotion. You know, don't be afraid.
Don't send that email.
don't be afraid to ask for what's yours. You know, if you don't ask for a pay rise, chances are you're not going to get a pay rise. So ask for a pay rise. Ask for a promotion. Ask to be given what you're worth, because that's how you get things. It's like imagine being in a restaurant. Who's going to get the most free dishes? The one who complains. But I know that's a little bit of an annoying example. But like, yeah, just like stand up for what you want and don't be embarrassed or afraid of judgment.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that was the exact same advice as guest number 1, Tom, and he said the words "just do it" as well. So love that. It's fantastic advice.
So one last question: who should we get on the podcast?
Who should you get on the podcast?
Realistic at the moment.
You should get my mate Luke Tarrant on the podcast.
What does he do?
Son of Chris.
He was traveling South America. So he quit his banking job, traveling South America, got in a motorcycle crash and lost his leg, and ended up becoming a really good content creator about it. So that happened 4 months ago, and the lad's already got hundreds of thousands of followers and makes really fun videos, just like documenting his life of him getting back in shape and going to the gym. So I'm seeing him tomorrow, but I'll drop him a note. But he'll be a good one. But he's basically, lad had lost his leg and turned this terrible thing into actually something positive, because now he quit his job because he wasn't enjoying it and didn't feel like that was the direction his life wanted to go in. Went traveling, and then accidentally, him losing a limb, he found this new career and his potential, his future way to live his life. So.
Wow,
Love
be a good
that.
story, that one.
Well, hopefully he's on the pod soon.
Yeah.
Ollie, thank you so much for coming on, mate. It's been a really, really interesting chat. I've loved the algorithm chat more than anything, to be honest. It's been great. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Cheers, lads.
You have got something coming up. Would you like to talk about it?
I'm doing my first ever pop-up. When's this going live?
Next week.
Next week.
Next week.
So it'll be, well, Friday and Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd of November. I'm doing my first ever pop-up where people can actually try my food that hasn't come out of the freezer for the first time. We're going to be serving tandoori Wellingtons, tandoori chicken thigh Wellingtons with a keema duxelle, and Reuben Wellingtons with salt beef, sauerkraut, cheese, that kind of vibe.
Love it.
So a spicy and a non-spicy version.
We'll be there.
The Nun's Head, Peckham Arches. No, Peckham, not Peckham Arches, just Peckham. The Nun's Head in Peckham.
Love it. Excellent.
Epic. We'll be there.
We will.
See you.
Scranning.
Scrannon.
Awesome.
Nice one.
Cool. Thanks a lot.